God will often send difficult people in your life to teach you to be more loving. I know, I'm sorry, Brandon, but that's what he'll do. And so if you need a lesson in love, he'll send you somebody that's hard to love. And hey, staff around here, do we have anybody in our congregation like that? They're hard to love? That are challenging? They're just all smiling. They're looking at me. Says, you. Yeah. So it's that whole process of being a family and inviting people into this environment that we're a family. Communicate the value of membership. And when we talk about membership, we want to communicate this is the benefits of being a part of our family. Now, 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, that I taught our membership class on a Sunday morning. I said, okay, everybody in the room, there was over 800 in the gatherings. I said, including kids and anybody that walked by on the trail or drove by, we had about 800 because we count everybody. There was a cat in the corner with 5 kittens. We added her to the number. Anyway, because we're Baptists, that's what we do. And I took them through the membership class. And we had, how many, is Wyatt here? Wyatt's not here. Amber, you may know, 63, 68 people joined that weekend. Yeah, 68 people joined that weekend. And we took them through the class. We had interviews. Our deacons and our advisory team, part of our structure, they did membership interviews. We made sure they were saved. We talked about their baptism. We got their story. And we added 60-something people to our family. Isn't that kind of crazy? Yeah. And so we wanted to say this is the benefits of membership. Now, 3 parts of the Christian life. Believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and you'll be saved. Belong. You're a member of God's own family. You belong in God's household with every other Christian. And then become. From the very beginning, God decided that those who came to him should become like his son. So we want to help people. We want to lead people. We want to encourage people to come to Christ and come be a part of our family. That they might believe in Jesus and then they might belong to the family. And then when they belong to the family, they become like Christ. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to become like Christ apart from a church family. We grow best together. If you're not connected in the family, how can you do the one another's of the Bible? How can you love one another, pray for one another, encourage one another, forgive one another? How can you do that if you're not connected? And so you want to help people get connected. And then we talk about the benefits of membership. It identifies me as a genuine believer. It provides me a spiritual family to support and encourage me. It gives me a place to discover and use my gifts. It places me under the spiritual protection of godly leaders. It gives me accountability I need to grow. And I know I just went through all of those quickly. They may be in your notes, but quickly to show you these are the benefits, and you need to teach your people the benefits. When we went through the membership class on the Sunday morning, we passed out our membership covenant. And this is what we did. We said, if you're already a member here and you've never signed our covenant, why don't you sign it and drop it in the basket? And we had literally hundreds of those signed and dropped in the basket. And we base our covenant based on connect, grow, serve, share, and honor. It actually starts with honor. Honor, connect, grow, serve, and share. So people will say, here are the expectations. You're part of this family. Here are the expectations. And this is what we'll do, and this is what you'll do, and this is what we'll do together. And we did that. And what that does, it starts clarifying who we are. It clarifies who we are. So believe, belong, become. Is that helpful? Okay, let me stop. Questions you guys might have. Comments you might have. Pithy statements you might have. Too much. Thank you, Andrea. Y'all pray for Andrea. She'll be looking for a job as a worship leader. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Dennis. You know what? This is the first time we've done it here. I've done this in other churches. I would preach it at least once a year in our kind of reminding people who we are, because people need to be reminded more than they need to be instructed. When the first time I ever did this, taught the membership class, was in Canada. And we had 450 people join that weekend. That was a zoo, unmanageable. And we got it done. But I think it's a great way to remind people and help people to re-enlist. I did this in the church I led in Alabama, and I just did it here because, I probably waited too long, but I needed to earn some relational collateral here, and I'm still earning it. Paul.
How often do you teach your new members class, and who on your staff teaches?
Wyatt typically teaches our new members class. We teach it once a month on a Sunday afternoon, right after our gatherings. I don't know how it's fairly effective. We're always tweaking on it. We do offer it online. I recorded all 4 of our classes, Connect, Grow, Serve, and Share. I did a video of that. So typically, and I think this is what the guys do, is they show the video, then they have a discussion around the video with the new members class. And it takes about an hour and 15 minutes to have not only the membership class, the step in class, but the step with and the step up and the step out class that we teach those 4 classes. We're going to be talking about that today. So we do it once a month. And the numbers decrease from membership to share, from connect to share, they decrease because of just that natural flow. And Wyatt teaches that. Now, in the past, I have taught that, but there's only a certain amount of energy that we have. And so I recorded it, and so it's kind of like I'm there, but I'm not there. And people really prefer if I'm there, they could turn me off. They like that a lot. Okay, that's good questions. Any other questions or thoughts?
Scott, another benefit that we talk in our membership class is that in the Bible, with each local church, God is doing something special. There's a special message
Yeah.
in the church. And if they're going to be in our area and be a Christian, they're going to be removed from what God is doing right here unless they jump in.
That's so good. And Jonathan's so right that even though we're all part of the body of Christ, we're not a franchise. We're not McDonald's on every corner. And I think that's one of the mistakes Baptists made back in the day. We wanted to franchise and reproduce everywhere. And we want to hold our doctrine in purity, but each church has a different function and needs to discover that function. And who are we and what are we doing there? And, all of us should be building lives churches, but how that is expressed and what's that done is going to be very different. And it's all according to your culture and the cultural lens of your area. For a $5,000 initiation fee, you can access all our info. No, they're on our website. Our website is very difficult to find right now, and that's why we're changing it. Dan, can you help us tell us where we can find our membership videos? Are they on our Vimeo channel or YouTube channel, or where are they? Okay, if you'll email Dan at fbcwimberley.com, Dan will be glad to send you all 4 of those videos. Okay? Yes, sir.
So we've talked about the videos for the classes before, and I had a unique situation come up last time I taught Connect. Someone didn't agree with our view on biblical marriage.
Okay.
So if you send someone to a video, is there a loophole to where?
They still have to sign the membership agreement.
Okay.
And they're saying we're agreeing with the theology of the church. If they sign that and they're lying, that's a whole other set of issues. Yeah, and in fact, if your church does not have a clear statement about marriage and homosexuality, you probably need to get it. And we have one that's been written by a constitutional lawyer. We'd be glad to share it with you. Any other questions or thoughts? These are good stuff. Good stuff. So Jonathan's church is going to have a different assignment than First Baptist, even though we share the same theology and a lot of the same structure. Isn't that cool? So that's why we're better together. And that's why I think y'all, instead of us competing with one another, we ought to complement one another. Complement one another. I invited every pastor in Wimberley to come to this conference. Just come. And they didn't. I invited everyone in our association to come. And some of you guys that are part of our association, you go and say, hey, you know, maybe us guys in the association, maybe we ought to offer it to all the other pastors in our association. We can talk to Robbie about it. I don't have to teach it. We can teach it together. I think maybe some of the pastors are scared of me in the association, rightfully so. He's crazy. Be careful. I'm an EGR, weird uncle. But so we should be complimenting one another instead of competing. Wouldn't y'all agree with that? Yeah.
I heard about your glazed croissants.
Glazed croissants. That ought to bring them in right there. Yeah. Okay. So develop a plan to assimilate new members, and that's what we're talking about getting people into a class. So questions asked in the membership class, what is expected of me? What does God expect of me? What does the church expect of me? What kinds of people already make up our congregation? How will that change in the next 5 to 10 years? This is a huge question we're asking because we're looking at our church for the next 5 to 10 years. How is our church going to change? It's going to change considerably because we got a lot of people in their late 80s and 90s, and they're going to be in the heaven in the next 5 or 10 years. Next 5 or 10 years. We celebrated 2 birthdays recently. A guy turned 99 and a lady turned 98. You know, if they live 10 more years, they're making the record books. And so how is it going to change, and what's it going to do? What do our members value? What are new members' greatest needs? What are our long-term members' greatest needs? How can we make membership more meaningful? How can we ensure that members feel loved and cared for? What do we owe our members? What resources or services can we offer our members? How can we add value to what we already offer? And those are 12 questions that come out of this conference. But I'm thinking this: how can we empower and release our members to do good in the world? How can we motivate them from being self-centered to being Christ-centered? From service to serve us, from serve us to serve us. From preference to ministry. Those are good questions, don't you think? Yeah. How can we enlarge their hearts to the place where we say, it's not about me? I think that would be like the most incredible church if you had a church full of people who say, it's not about me. Wouldn't that be awesome? Nobody agrees. Yeah. So when we answer those questions, we can have a plan, a tailor-made plan to start some things. So 5 questions prospective members ask. The question of acceptance: do I fit here? Do I fit here? The question of friendship: does anybody want to know me? Want to know me? Now, this is an interesting question because I've been to places that are friendly, but then it's just been superficial. Superficial. The question of value: am I needed? Am I needed? For 2 years, Tara and I attended a church, a great church, a big church, a growing church, and they didn't need me. In fact, they told me they didn't need me. They said, yeah, you know, we're glad you're here, but we really don't need you. So how loved did I feel? How much did I give to that church? None of your business. The question of benefit: what's the greatest advantage of joining? Now I'm a little different. When I join something, I want to be in. I want to contribute. I want to be in. I don't come to ride the bench. I want to be in the game. In the game. It reminds me, Bard, remember when you took over coaching the church softball team and you had to get me off the team because I was a problem? Yeah, and you sent me over to play in the city league because I made the right fielder cry. I remember that day when I yelled at him for not hitting the cutoff man. You know, baseball's important, right, Ozzy? That's right. It's a question of expectation. What's required of me as a member? So establish a required membership class. Establish a required membership class. That just don't let people walk an aisle, shake your hand, and say, hey, you're in. So you need to establish a class. And in that class needs to have the content of trusting Christ, explaining your why baptism and why the Lord's Supper, because those two things are very confusing to people when they come in, especially from another denomination. If they come from a denomination that's sacerdotal, that means they have to do these things to be right with God, you're going to have to explain the difference between a sacrament and an ordinance. You know, we as Baptists in our theology, we're not sacerdotal. We don't have sacraments to make you right with God other than trusting Jesus. That is a sacrament. We're one singular sacrament. The ordinances are observing because we do love Jesus. Because we do belong to him, we take communion. Because we do belong to him, we're baptized after we trusted him as a symbol of believing. Does baptism save you? No. But you do it out of obedience. Now, if I ask a Church of Christ guy, does baptism save you? What are they going to say? They're going to say yes. And so that enters into a discussion you could have in your membership class. And if you just shake their hand and welcome them and you don't talk theology, then you're going to have good luck.
Talking about means of grace.
Yes, means of grace. Yeah, and then you talk about your strategy and your structure. This is how we're structured. This is our strategy. It helps people understand. This is our theology. This is what we teach. It's what we believe. This is our affiliation. These are the people we're connected to. And it helps understand. And when you do that basic information, you're being very loving to say, this is what you're getting yourself into. And then you tell the people, it's between you and God whether or not you're joined. We're not getting commission on membership here. We don't. We're helping you take your next step spiritually. We're helping you move from the crowd down into the core to live all for Jesus. Okay? Is that helpful? So establish that intentionality of a class. So develop a membership covenant where people sign. And here's a sample membership covenant. I think you have that in your notes. Do you have the sample membership covenant in your notes? Okay, now we have a membership covenant that's a little different from this one. And Amber, if you wouldn't mind, sometime maybe today, get copies of our membership covenant that we can just have available if you want to take a look at ours. Ours is based on our 5 life commitments: honor, connect, grow, serve, and share. This one is more based on, actually this is saddlebacks. And so we just put that into, but we have one that we've developed for us. And this is how it happened with us. We were going through a structural change, and we were writing our bylaws and changing our structure. And I was just going to use this as our membership covenant. And I said, this should be our membership covenant. And one of our guys raised their hand and says, hey, Pastor Scott, since we're committed to connecting, growing, serving, and sharing and honoring God with our life, shouldn't our covenant reflect that? What? Yeah, duh. He said, don't you think you ought to write something that would reflect that? What? Yeah. So I did. And then when we introduced our structure, then our covenant reflects our values. I think that makes a lot of sense, don't you guys? So if your statements are connect, grow, serve, and share, and honor, you can use ours. If your statements are believe, belong, become, then develop your covenant around that. If they're, whatever yours are, then develop your covenant that reflects your language. Okay? Is that helpful? Because this is not a franchise, y'all. So it needs to reflect your culture. Create opportunities to build relationships. And I think the best way, you could do retreats, you could do fellowships, you could do relational activities, a part of every meeting. We serve coffee, we have goodies, we throw parties. We throw parties with a purpose, that's what we call them. They haven't quite caught on yet, but they're gonna catch on, where we say we're throwing this party, we want you to bring your friends to this party and come and see. We did stupid things in Victoria, like I declared Texas Day. I declared a national holiday. We're having Texas Day. I just made it up. We're having Texas Day. And we started it early when we were small and in the mall, and I rode a horse to church and put on Texas stuff. And at a certain point, the organization that protects animals from cruelty told me I could no longer ride the horse. So, back to the weird uncle. Yeah, that's right. But we did these things, and we just continue this celebration. one day we were having Texas Day, and we had like 3,000 people. We were barbecuing chickens, and a blue norther blew in. And we had all these bouncy houses, and I was standing there with my plate of chicken as I saw the huge mountain that kids were climbing on, untethered, and go through the air, and children flapping in the wind. I'm going, oh my gosh, are people gonna die? And one child went to the hospital, but they were fine, and it broke off somebody's car mirror window, and we paid to fix that. But that was like, oh, do you remember that, Bard? Brian, I know you remember it. You're still in therapy over it. Yeah, so we just threw parties, and we're throwing parties here. We celebrate our birthday. We don't know what it was, so we made up a day. It's in October. We don't know if that's actually our birthday, but we kind of made it up. You know, anybody that's 135 years old really doesn't know when their birthday is anyway. And so we just picked October or thereabouts, and we're throwing a party end of October. And we baptize at our parties. We have bouncy houses and have fun, and we eat, and it's awesome. We have a party on Palm Sunday. We call it a Palm Sunday picnic. It's a party with a purpose. It's a come and see event. Now, Roddy, I'm opening the hood to let you in. And this is for our people to say, hey, this is an awesome opportunity to let my friends meet my other friends, and maybe God's doing something there.
I already did that on Facebook.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and promoting on social media and seeing people come. And so we do that. You provide those opportunities. Do y'all know you can get more relational depth built in a retreat than you can in a year worth of group life? Retreats are wonderful ways. Camp. You send kids to camp, whether it's whether it's kids, children or students. Camp is a great opportunity to build deep relationships. Mission trips are another one of those, when you're actually doing something church to church that's beneficial, not mission vacation, which, you need to evaluate that, and we'll talk more about that later. But the intentionality of saying you go together and you experience these things and you bond, you bond, and that these opportunities to build relationships, and then create a group structure to help people get involved in groups, to be a part of that, as we talked yesterday, the group, and the gathering. Encourage every member to join a group. Let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds. Let us not give up meeting together, but let us encourage one another. And the writer of Hebrews said that when he was talking about the church that was primarily meeting in homes, not in amphitheaters. He said, let's don't neglect meeting together. They were meeting in households, because there was no church buildings for the first 300 years.
Al principio se estaban reuniendo en las casas en vez de las iglesias, en los edificios que llamamos iglesias. Cada miembro tiene que ser parte de un grupo.
You should have more than your members' party groups. You should experience 120% connected in your groups.
Y las células es donde se puede formar a la persona espiritualmente. Y hay mucha gente que se atrevería a ir a tu casa antes de ir a la iglesia. Cuando nosotros nos reuníamos en el centro comercial, en otra iglesia, nos llamaban la secta en el centro comercial, pero la gente estaba paseando por ahí y se acercaban a ver y se hicieron miembros de la iglesia. Las congregaciones y los grupos, aquí les dejo con algunos beneficios. Dicen hechos que crecieron espiritualmente. Segundo, formaron un buen compañerismo y se unieron con corazones sinceros. Se ministraron entre sí, les sirvieron uno a los otros. y les dieron
And
unos
then
a
they
los otros.
evangelized the lost. They shared the
Evangelizaban
love
los
of Jesus.
perdidos.
And the Lord added to their number daily those who were being
Y el
saved.
Señor les
Now,
añadió
sometimes you read
a
that
su
passage
número
and you think,
cada día.
oh, that evangelism was just metaphysical.
A veces leímos ese pasaje y
God just
pensamos
saved
que
persevere,
esa
saved persevere,
añadidura
saved
fue
persevere,
algo
that nobody was
metafísica.
talking about it. No.
No es así.
When people found Christ, they shared Christ.
Cuando la gente encontraba a Cristo, compartían a Cristo y compartían su esperanza. Quiero compartir algo que les puede asombrar. En ninguna parte de las Sagradas Escrituras no dice que compartamos nuestra fe. Dice que compartamos nuestra esperanza. Tu testimonio es la historia más poderosa que tenemos para enseñarles a nuestros congregantes para compartir la esperanza de Dios. No estamos aquí tratando de venderle un carro o lo que sea. Somos unos rogadores diciéndoles a los demás, a otros rogadores por dioseros diciendo a los demás dónde encontrar el pan. En Proverbios dice que tenemos que prestar atención a nuestros rebaños. La gente no está de acuerdo con cosas que no entienden, donde no haya comunicación, no pueden ser a favor del mensaje. Ahora tenemos las maravillas de Facebook y cosas así, si es que tengan acceso. Podemos promocionar, promover, informar a la gente por correo electrónico, por textos, por videos. Llamadas telefónicas todavía son muy eficaces. Yo también cartas, les mando a cartas a ciertas personas y todavía eso es muy eficaz. Esas son maneras para que la gente se mantenga conectado. Tenemos que hacer que la gente se sienta especial. Cuando se bautizan, darles un certificado. A lo mejor piensa que es algo cursi, pero a la gente le gusta tener un certificado, una bienvenida. Escríbeles una carta dándole la bienvenida a la familia. Hay que hacerlo personalizado. Una cosa que hicimos nosotros, mi esposa y yo este año, durante la Navidad, invitamos a que todo el mundo, a toda la iglesia, que pasara solamente unos para saludar y fue un poco agobiante porque había mucha gente, pero eso mandó un mensaje de bienvenida. ¿Qué hacemos para que se sientan como miembros de nuestra familia? Ok, ya se ha acabado la sesión 4. ¿Tienen comentarios o preguntas? En la clase de membresía, ¿la promocionan como una clase de membresía? Sí, es una invitación. ¿Quieres ser parte de nuestra familia? Vengan a ver nuestra clase de membresía. Es algo obligatorio que tienen que hacer. Si quieres ser parte de aquí, así lo hacemos. De vez en cuando hay gente que pasa de otra iglesia bautista y ya han tomado los cursos, entonces no tienen que tomarlos, pero pueden hacerse miembros de todas formas. Lo que hacemos es que cuando la gente se hace miembros, les mandamos en el correo electrónico semanal para que todo el mundo se entere de que ya son miembros de la iglesia.
You want them really to engage like at that 800 mark. That's really where you want them to stay.
Queremos que se involucren en ese 800, que yo no tengo idea de lo que se tratan esos números, pero
I think around here that percentage is shrinking, but it really depends on the culture.
que no lo capte
in
escuchar lo que
Texas,
dice.
being a church member is kind of like expected. Now, in some places, like in Canada, membership wasn't expected.
Depende de la
So we
cultura.
have
En Texas, por
5,000
ejemplo,
people
la
on the
gente
weekend,
se
and we only had
entiende
about
de la
1,800
expectativa de que
members.
van a hacerse
So we
miembros.
were always talking about membership.
Sin embargo, cuando yo era pastor en Canadá, esa expectativa no existía. Todo tiene que ver con la cultura. Si hay membresías o no hay membresía. Hay mucha gente que llega a la iglesia y no saben si quieren comprometerse a algo. Le pregunto de los porcentajes y dice que yo no sé qué sean los porcentajes de los que sean miembros y no son. De vez en cuando la gente viene y me dice, pues yo no quiero ser miembro. Y yo les digo, pues no, está bien, no tienen que ser miembro, pero no puedes liderar nada, no puedes tener un rol de liderazgo. Yo creo que cuando le empezamos a ofrecer los cursos de membresía antes del culto, los domingos, fue bastante, había más gente que se integraban porque fue algo más accesible y no tuvieron que apartar otro tiempo en su semana para venir acá. Ya estuvieron aquí y ya se hicieron miembros. Regresando al tema de que tenemos que tener letreros claros para el mensaje. Tenemos que tener mensajes claros para que la gente sepa cómo funciona nuestra organización. Yo quisiera saber en cuanto a los pactos de ciertos ministerios específicos, ¿eso es otro pacto o es un pacto del mismo pacto? No, nosotros usamos pactos diferentes y tenemos que revisarlos para ver si están funcionando o no están funcionando. Hay mucha gente que se aferra a los pactos en vez de lo que la gente necesita. Siempre hay gente que es humbrosa, de que si nosotros resucitáramos a gente se quejarían porque resucitaste a la persona equivocada. Ahora vayan a buscar un poco una picadera a comer y así como dicen ustedes, una botana, lo que dicen los mexicanos. Un pisco labi, cosas para picar, por eso le digo picadera. Los puertorriqueños dicen pisco labis, creo. Sí, ¿verdad? ¿Y en Costa Rica algo para picar, no?